everyone, my name is McKenna Gonzarowski, and today I'm going to be talking about how blind lizards pick whether they become male or female, based on a research article called XXXY Sex Chromosomes in a Blind Lizard. In reptiles, sex can work in a couple different ways. Sometimes species use temperature, meaning the heat of the nest decides the sex. Others use chromosomes, like us humans do, where different combinations of DNA decides whether you're male or female. But here's the issue. There are many reptiles where we still have no idea how sex is decided. Usually, these are animals that live in places that we can't easily observe, like underground, and especially these blind lizards. Blind lizards don't have legs, they kind of look like tiny snakes, and they spend most of their lives under rocks and soil, and science just hasn't had that many chances to study them closely. In this study, the researchers hypothesized that blind lizards use an XX and XY system like humans. This would mean that females have two X chromosomes and males have one X and one Y. From previous lizard data, they know that the Y chromosome might be shriveled or completely missing. If this were true, then males should have half as much of a certain DNA instruction compared to females, because males only have one X. So they planned to compare DNA from a male and female blind lizard and then check if there are as many genes where females have twice as much DNA. If they found that pattern, they would prove the species use XX and XY chromosomes. Before I show their data, I want to remind you that a gene is a small instruction in DNA that helps the body grow, and a chromosome is like a book full of those genes. Blind lizard DNA isn't fully organized in a reference map yet, so the scientists used the well-mapped chicken genome as a guide. It's kind of strange, but we'll go with it. That just means they lined up the blind lizard DNA using the chickens as a template to see where everything goes. Now in this figure, each dot represents how much of a gene the male has compared to the female. The dots near the middle line shows the genes where the male and female have about the same amount of DNA. These genes are not involved in sex. Look at all of the clusters with the red arrows. This shows that the genes where the males only have half as much DNA as the female has. This means that females have two copies of those genes and males only have one copy. This matches what we would expect if females are XX and males are XY, because males only get one of the X, so it would be half. And over 1,500 of these genes show that. That's a large portion of the genome showing this pattern. This proves that blind lizards use XXXY sex chromosomes, and the Y chromosome in the males is very small or missing a lot of DNA. In other words, their hypothesis was correct. So why does this matter and why should we care? It answers a basic question about the species we still know very little about. Now we can say we officially know that blind lizards determine sex using chromosomes. And since blind lizards are an early branch in reptile evolution, this gives us a better picture of the past. It shows that chromosome systems for sex may have evolved multiple times in reptiles and not just once. Now, scientists can take this background information wherever they want and form new hypotheses. So overall, this study fills in a missing piece of reptile evolution and can help future research on how sex develops in different animal groups. Understanding sex determination also matters for conservation, because if a species relies on temperature or chromosomes, it can affect on how well they can survive as the environment changes. I'm glad that we know more about these cute little creatures, and thank you for listening.